Chair, honorable ministers, gentlemen and ladies of the press. Today we'll elaborate a little bit on some of the work that we've been doing given the presidential directive over the last week and the week ahead of us. So the primary reason for this directive was to enable the hard work being done at the states to happen. Case finding, contact tracing, and bringing in cases into hospitals. So to improve the efficiency of this process, we've agreed on certain targets for all the states actively involved in this. These are targets that we will now measure on a daily basis to measure the effectiveness of our work. So I'm making these targets public because we will measure our progress based on these targets. The targets might seem a bit broad at the moment, but we will tighten this every day over the next few days because we need to show that the time given us by Mr. President has been worth the sacrifice that Nigerians are making. The 5 key targets that we're setting for teams in Abuja and Lagos are to make sure that the collection of samples from individuals, symptomatic individuals, happen within 8 hours of notification of the state team. Secondly, that the turnaround time for testing and resulting will be less than 24 hours. This is the case because sometimes samples come in late in the evening and have to be resulted the next day. The third one is we plan to test 200 samples per day in Lagos and 100 samples per day in Abuja by the end of this week. Number 4 is to isolate patients in less than 6 hours after they have received a positive result at the state level. And we plan to isolate every confirmed case. So we will measure ourselves with percentages on each of these indicators and use that to improve the effectiveness of the response. In addition to case finding, the second most important thing is contact tracing, i.e. listing all the contacts and making sure we find all of them. This involved a very strenuous effort in sometimes following tens of contacts of each individual. There used to be a lot more when the flights were still coming in, but now each case would have about 30 to 40 contacts to follow up. Like you all know, Nigerians are very sociable people, so everyone generally has a lot of contacts, friends, family around them. So this is a very intense activity now going on in every state that has cases, but of course most of this is happening in Lagos and Abuja. Every contact is then followed up for 14 days. To date, about 30% of all our cases have been found through this contact tracing. So it is through the contact tracing that we have found about 30% of all our cases. To make this possible, we use an electronic platform we call SORMAS. This helps us track all the cases, understand who is linked, which contact is linked to what case, and through that we can monitor which contacts are developing symptoms and then continue the chain of transmission from there. This is sometimes limited by phone networks and voice and audio, but we keep pushing hard to make sure we use this as effectively as possible. We've engaged a lot of volunteers to help this work, mostly in Lagos, but some in Abuja as well. The WHO has helped us with a lot of their expertise. So people working across the country have literally all been withdrawn into supporting this response in Lagos. So in addition to the state level, we have a local government level intensively following up every individual in Lagos State. In Abuja, it's still organized at a state level because we can still manage the number of cases here. So this is just to give you a flavor of the very hard, intensive work that has gone on last week and will continue this week. This is one of the primary reasons Mr. President gave us these 2 weeks in Lagos and Abuja to strengthen the response. So I really urge all Nigerians to support these activities as they happen, especially friends in Lagos. When you see the teams arriving, please give them some respect, allow them the space to work, and let them do the very difficult task that they're carrying out. Finally, I did say we will release a policy on face masks this week. That policy has almost been completed. In fact, the draft is now being looked at by various colleagues to make sure that we're all aligned. And tomorrow or next, we'll be releasing that policy for all of us to align with together. So I'll end my update for today then. Thank you, sir.